That's the theme of today's episode, the energy. What is the energy in your city? Now, if you're living in the outskirts, if you're living in the boondocks, if you're living on a reservation, if you're living any of these sort of more rural areas that I'm describing, maybe the energy is just business as usual. Maybe the energy is, I'm going to go down to the meat market. I'm going to go down to Hoffman's meat market and buy some meat sticks. And I'm going to throw some back and forth with Peter at the whatever it is. And then we're going to do the thing. That's probably some of your energies. And based on the statistics, it's about 30% of Americans. So for the rest of you, if you're living in urban areas, if you're living in the suburbs, if you're living in, let's say, areas with a population of more than 8,000, I think that's a good cutoff line, 8,000 or so, because then you start to have like a youth generation coming in because you have a lot of parents that are in the community and you just have a lot more youthful energy, and they tend to be the ones that get caught up in the rhetoric, and also retirees. You have a lot of retirees, you have old people who just have a lot of time on their hands, quite frankly, and they need something to do. So, if you don't know what I'm referencing, ladies and gentlemen, the energy in a lot of bigger cities. I'm in Fargo right now. I find myself downtown almost every single day. And I will tell you that the energy on the streets is a little hotter than usual. A teensy bit. Teensy bit. Look, I'm just going to say it. The buildings that I know about are on high alert. The banks are on high alert. The Fargo Theater is on high alert. Everywhere, like the town hall is on. Everywhere is talking about how we're worried that things could get a little bit hot and bothered. Who knows? I personally have a little bit more faith in the people of Fargo. They seem like a decent mix of not too big a city folk where they're going to be showing up to the No Kings protests every day and they're going to be burning cities like in the George Floyd protests. But they're also not so right-wing that they're going to be chanting Nazi slurs. They seem like people who are just interested in having a barbecue every summer. Do you get my drift, ladies and gentlemen? I'm just trying to get this across, ladies and gentlemen. From bleeding hearts to accusations of domestic terrorism, no one can seem to keep their goddamn head on straight, at least on this latest shooting. If you can't find yourself finding a decent opinion on this, if you're like, well, it seems like this to me, I want to take all of our personal perspectives out of it. I'm not going to take my personal perspective on it. I'm not going to go ahead and say, well, if I was the police officer, I personally would have acted the same exact way. I'm not going to take my personal perspective into it. I'm not going to do that with you today, ladies and gentlemen. Our first story is only going to cover the legal actual reasonings around this case. We're only going to talk about the actionable consequences. But ladies and gentlemen, I think that just in order to cool down the temp, I think we need to it's a Friday. We need to remember that it's time to have fun. Get the club music going. What are we doing, guys? Come on. It's an actionable day where we can make ourselves have some fun. Let's get it. I love it, ladies and gentlemen. We're having a good one. We're having a great Friday. I'm having a great one. If that was a little too intense for you, don't worry. If you like a little more smooth, I got some dads that I found singing on Instagram for you. Not a single black guy in that room. You'd never guess it based on how good they were. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's get into the serious stuff. I know that was fun. I know that we're having a good time, but let's get into the real shit. Ladies and gentlemen, we're covering the fatal shooting of Renee Nicole Good, the 37-year-old United States citizen, the mother of three, by Immigration and Customs Enforcement ICE agents on January 7th, 2 days ago already. I mean, if you didn't already know this, the governor went ahead and declared that it's going to be a national day of mourning or something like that. I don't know. Here, I got his sloppy in the hand cam video. Let's review. Tim Waltz, from your words, your own. I don't want to quote you. I don't want to mischaracterize you. I only want to give my viewers the truth.
Hi everyone, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz here. You witnessed in Minnesota yesterday a tragedy, the death of Renee Good on the streets at the hands of a federal agent. You also witnessed last night a beautiful vigil, a peaceful vigil. People expressing their constitutional and First Amendment rights in a peaceful manner, and for that
Did you just mispronounce vigil? He pronounced it visual. All right.
say thank you. I've been very clear. We need a couple things here. We need Minnesota to carry out this investigation to make sure that the professionals at the BCA and the local law enforcement who's in charge of law enforcement make sure we do the investigation, and then to pull back this unnecessary surge. And so with that, I would ask for all of us to continue to do this peacefully, continue to raise our voices, but do so in a manner that brings about that sense of community. In Minnesota, I'm declaring tomorrow at 10 a.m. on January 9th, I'd ask everyone to pause for a moment of silence to remember Renee Good, also to remember...
Well, shit, I didn't do that, but I have some 2 gingers right here that I can dump a little bit on my desk. Here. Pouring one out for you, Renee. So sorry that this happened. I only did a little dribble. I'm not going to waste this stuff. It's real Irish shit. It's really good. But, continue. Sorry not to interrupt, but I just wanted to be respectful. Pour one out for a blood.
Good and right about this nation. And I'm going to ask folks, if they can, I'd ask employers to give their people some space. I'd ask each and every one to find a way to contribute in your community. It might be shoveling your neighbor's walk. It might be being at a food bank. It might be pausing to talk to someone you haven't talked to.
I love that he's mastered that. I remember growing up and hearing shovel the walk. I'm glad that he's mastered that. He knows that that's like good lingo to throw in. This looks AI generated. I'm just kidding. It looks completely real. I love that he's a quarter zip guy, by the way. I love that Tim Walz is drinking matcha. He has his Labubu. He has his, his really bad, the receding hairline. I will say, he does match. He was a Nebraskan originally, but he matches the description of, every grandpa that I've ever seen or had here. Even the ones that have decent hairlines, for some reason, they'll buzz it all. They'll buzz all their hair down, and you're like, what are you doing? You have, a good head of hair on you. But, and then some of them, they'll do this thing where it's, they'll do, a half shave on top or whatever. It's, really awkward. But I love how he fits the description that most people think of. They're like, Minnesota coach? Oh, yeah, I'll look at him and see that.
Before, but to show the goodness, to rise up, to make sure that we're being
Gonna
very,
rise
very
up.
clear about this.
Time to take a
That
shot.
we expect our
Gonna
constitutional
rise
rights
up.
to be respected, that law enforcement is local, that we expect accountability of our elected leaders, and that we are not going
Speaking of which, how about, I love accountability for elected leaders. You want to talk about fraud?
to go quietly, and we're not going to give up on those things that matter so much to us. And chief amongst those is human dignity, respect, rule of law.
Rule of
all
law.
the things that we know make this country great.
Yep. You're right on the money there, buddy. I get it. I feel yas. Well, actually, he mentioned something really interesting about this. The whole situation is getting more intense. The Department of Homeland Security, as you know, they've deployed around 2,000 agents starting January 6th, according to multiple reports from outlets like New York Times, APR, NPR, Washington Post. It was Good was driving the maroon SUV. She was blocking residential streets near the East 34th Street and Portland Avenue, only a few blocks away from where George Floyd was shot. Really weird, right, kind of guys? That's kind of bizarre. ICE agents then approached her vehicle. Bystanders' videos show the agents ordering her out, attempting to open the door, and then firing multiple shots as the vehicle began to move forward, causing it to crash into this white car and what we now know to be a telephone pole. The FBI currently is leading the investigation. They've escorted it away, just like the George Floyd situation. They went ahead and took it out of local hands and said, we're going to get involved right away. Listen, in the George Floyd situation, it was admittedly a little more suspicious because what did he have to do with federal operatives? You know what I mean? ICE obviously is a federal agency, but it's still weird. Isn't it bizarre to you that, why not have a little bit of state involvement here? Are you trying to institute a cover-up? What's going on? Local officials initially expected it to be a joint with the Minnesota Bureau of Criminal Apprehensions, the BCA, but the BCA withdrew after being denied access to evidence by the federal authorities. Federal officials, including DHS spokespeople and Secretary Kristi Noem, have described the shooting as justified in self-defense, stating that Good weaponized her vehicle in an attempt to run over or harm agents. I wouldn't think that that's an accurate characterization of her actions. I think that she was an idiot who tried to run away, and a lot of people are going, that was okay. They're also idiots because they're like, well, she shouldn't have been shot for it. Yeah, she should have. She should have died for it. And I think that's just an agreement. I think that we're just all like in complete and utter disagreement. Some people think that she deserved to die for her actions. Some people don't. If you say that she didn't agree, like if you're like, oh, she didn't deserve to die because she engaged in an assault on a federal agent, I don't know what else to say to you except for you're kind of an idiot if you expect your involving yourself in federal agents' behavior ever to go well for you. I think that that's a little ridiculous. We've already covered the fact that Jacob Fry called the federal agents' claims propaganda, bullshit, garbage, based on his review of the one video that he saw. By the way, most of the people that you see in this situation, you're like, did you catch any of the other angles? Did you actually watch any of the other videos? And you're like, and then they'll look at you and they're like, there's other angles, there's other views, and they're like, okay, so you obviously don't look into anything, you just see one thing on the news, and you don't actually investigate it meaningfully, and then you take that one narrative. That's okay, that's perfectly understandable, that's how certain people operate. It's beautiful, it's what makes the world a tremendous place, and it's what makes figures like me oracles in the future. Protests, they're erupting immediately in Minneapolis and all across other major states. Actually, hold on, I got this clip from KARE 11 News confirming everything that I'm saying.
Tim Wallace says that the state of Minnesota is being shut out of the investigation into the fatal ICE shooting that happened in Minneapolis on Wednesday. Initially, this was supposed to be a joint investigation by federal authorities and the FBI, as well as the BCA here in the state of Minnesota. But state officials are now saying that they were informed that the FBI is taking over, and state officials say they no longer have the access to the evidence they need to do a full investigation, so that they are, because of that, withdrawn. Governor Wallace had strong words for the federal government about that decision today, saying he doesn't believe that they will be able to have an impartial investigation.
Minnesota must be a part of this investigation. He talks so quietly, I gotta read it to you. These are nonpartisan career professionals that have spent years building the trust of the community.
This is important because it could impact the ability for local prosecutors, such as the Hennepin County Attorney's Office, to potentially file charges if they believe that state law was violated in this case, because they do not have the full access to the original evidence. Governor Tim...
I mean, very, very cool, very, very fun. Thank you, KARE 11 News, for the clip. I appreciate it. We're continuing to learn more new information about the woman. Renee, justice for Renee. There's tons of signs demanding it. Also signs demanding that ICE leave the city. You know what I mean? It's getting nutty. It's getting tenser by the day. Let's watch this other clip from KARE 11 News, ladies and gentlemen. Please play. Play. I want to eat dark chocolate. Give me an excuse.
Well, as the focus on the investigation takes center stage, we are working to get new information about Good, who died in yesterday's shooting. Ian Russell joins us now with how she's being remembered. Ian?
Yeah, well, Julie, we're learning quite a bit about the 37-year-old, including her love of poetry and more about her from family members. An ex-husband tells the Associated Press that Good...
I love that. They immediately move to humanizing. They're like, she loved poetry. She loved this. It has nothing... Let's not talk about what she did. Let's not talk about her actions. Let's not talk about any of it. Do you think there's going to be a movie about her in a few years? God, she's got this big-ass chin. She's got this Jay Leno chin. And these really creepy Senpaku eyes. I can't wait for Renee Good Memorial Square.
Has 3 kids, including 2 sons and a daughter. That ex-husband says Good had just dropped her 6-year-old son off at school and was on the way home when this all happened. Good was born in Colorado and prior to living in the Twin Cities lived in Kansas City, Missouri. Neighbors there tell our NBC affiliate that she moved about 8 months ago, and one neighbor there says Good was a mom who loved her family.
A neighbor who, is not a terrorist, not an extremist. That was just a mom who loved her kids, loved her spouse.
As I mentioned, we're learning more about Good's love of poetry, including winning a poetry prize from the Old Dominion University English Department in 2020. Now, I have reached out to several family members of hers, but have not heard back yet.
Well, don't repeat yourself. When I already play your clip, you don't have to go again. I'm sorry, but that's ridiculous. Let's look at more clips of these protests, ladies and gentlemen, because they're getting rowdy. I'm just gonna play you this one clip. ICE shooting sparks a clash with protesters outside of the Minneapolis court. Bring out the rubber bullets. Control these animals. Yeah. Fuck you. You losers have nothing to do? You have nothing better to do on a Friday? You took work off to be here? You fucking idiots. Hit him with a gas can. They're arresting one. Get her! Get her! Yes! Get him! Yeah! Yes! Get him! God, you guys, this is the most entertaining thing since 2020. This is the most entertaining thing since 2020. Just dishevelment, chaos. People are angry and they have nothing better. Dude, the weekend's coming right up. It's crazy how this happened on a Wednesday. And like, we're able to immediately shift into the weekend where everybody's off of work. I know there's going to be so many protests that are going to be arranged. I know it. I'm calling it right now, ladies and gentlemen. This weekend, be like me. I'm going to get a nice bottle of something. I'm going to get some weed. I'm going to get a TV. And I'm just going to set up and I'm going to watch the nonsense, ladies and gentlemen. Just watch it. Hopefully, they keep up with the candlelight vigils and the gentleness and all that. But if my radar is clocking this right, ladies and gentlemen, we are in for a movie. It's going to be a movie and it's going to be entertaining as shit. Just please bear with me here. This is the most exciting thing to happen in the Twin Cities in a long ass time. This is the most exciting thing to happen in the Twin Cities in a long time because it's going to stir up emotions. It's stirring you guys up as I'm talking right now. As I'm speaking, people are going, this is awful. Why would you say this? Why would you have this take on it? Because it's true and you know it's true. You know that it's true. This is only adding to the character, the vision, and the breadth of the city of Minneapolis. This is only adding. This is creating brilliance. This is creating soul. This is creating character. This is beautiful.
We do begin here with breaking news. Federal sources telling ABC News that federal agents have shot 2 people in Portland, Oregon a short time ago.
Oh, shit.
Who shot, we are told, are with
That's
US
our second story.
protection.
This was about the FBI fatal ICE shooting in Minneapolis as protests erupt across the city, but he just teased my other story. I'm sorry. We're talking about the Portland shooting. ICE just shot 2 other people. I'm going to talk about it in the future.
What we know so far
in the second story.
Also in Minneapolis, growing protests and outrage tonight after the deadly ICE shooting of a mother of 3 there. 2 very different takes on what happened there, and the images, of course, are disturbing. The video...
It's not just 2. I mean, 2 very loud voices. One saying that, she had like bombs strapped to her chest and she was ready to kill everybody. And one saying, she was just painting at the wheel and like she was just writing poetry at the wheel. And then some ICE agent walked up to her car and shot her in the face. There's 2 very different, and like she just was trying to drive away. That's the 2 different takes. You know what I mean? That's the 2 loudest ones. And then there's people like me that are just going like, well, you fuck around, you find out with federal agents. And that's never a great idea. And even if she was trying to get away, she was engaged in an actionable assault on a federal officer, which is a felony under Section 111 of the Federal Penal Code. The agent's life was jeopardized, regardless of what the woman may or may not have intended to do. Intent is not the question or the conversation. We'll get to that later.
Shows 37-year-old Renee Good behind the wheel of her SUV, partially blocking that intersection. An agent trying to open her door. You see the vehicle reverse and then drive forward. A third agent firing those 3 shots, killing the driver, shooting her in the head. After the shooting, the SUV accelerating and crashing
Victory
into parked
Royale
cars along the street. Witnesses horrified by what they saw. Tonight here, frame by frame, what happened, what we know about the agent who opened fire, where he was standing at the time. The White House doubling down, defending him and the ICE operation. Tonight, the vice president, in a rare appearance in the White House briefing room, saying of the driver, this was a, quote, tragedy of her own making. And tonight, that's the scene in Minneapolis, where we're also learning...
A lot of people won't love that take, but it's unfortunately really, really true. The whole situation was one of her own making, and she is not the victim of a situation that she created. And a lot of people want to victimize her. A lot of people want to infantilize her. They want to make her this little girl who didn't know any. She didn't know that if she pressed on the gas that she would hit that officer. She didn't know. She's just a little baby. For some reason, women, they're so smart, but we gotta treat them with like velvet gloves, apparently. You know what I mean? It's ridiculous. It's like, if they're really that equal, if they're really that capable, they should know to comply when they're being detained. There you go.
From Portland, Oregon at this hour, with Johnson leading us off now from Minneapolis.
Tonight, tensions rising on the streets of Minneapolis and across the country after an ICE agent shot and killed Renee Nicole Good.
Bang, bang!
A 37-year-old mother of three in her SUV as she began to drive forward. Protesters.
You notice how she's mother of three? She's mother of three. But George Floyd wasn't like father of two. It was just like innocent black man. That's the best that they could bring themselves to. But when it's a white lady, they can suddenly get all creative. They're like, she was a poet. She was all this. She was all that. But when it's a black person, they're just bothered by like, oh, it was just a black guy. They don't get into like, oh, he played the trumpet on the side.
Clashing with police, demanding ICE leave their city.
ICE go home!
Disturbing videos show officers approach the SUV, one of them grabbing the door handle as the vehicle backs up. Then you can see the wheels turn to the right, and when the driver begins to pull forward, another agent fires, hitting her in the head. The vehicle seen speeding up and then crashing into cars parked on the side of the street.
There you go.
Robert Boyce, former chief of detectives for the NYPD, analyzing the videos frame by frame, giving his view.
I see an officer getting struck by a vehicle, unknown how hard he was struck. Fire once, and then in quick succession, move to his right and fire another 2 shots. Shots 2 and 3 are the issue here, and that officer will have to explain himself why he fired those 2 rounds.
Boyce also weighing in on that officer standing in front of the car.
You never get in front of the car. And you never get in back of the car either, for that matter. You stay on the sides as safely as you can make it. That's the whole thing.
Overnight,
if you're smart, but that's exactly the argument, is that they're ICE agents. They're not properly vetted. They're not properly trained to do the things the 100% like absolute way. You know what I mean? So if you're a normal citizen, maybe think about that before you decide to interact with them.
About the driver, she behaved horribly.
She did.
She ran him over. She didn't try to run him over. But when shown the video, the president also called it a terrible scene. In the White House briefing
that's not
today,
wrong.
Vice President J.D. Vance placed the blame on the driver.
I can believe that her death is a tragedy, while also recognizing that it's a tragedy of her own making.
Yep.
And went on to defend the officer.
Regrettable J.D. Vance W. Sorry, guys. Rare J.D. Vance W. He's 100% on the money with this take.
This way.
She was trying to ram this guy with her car. He shot back.
Not with that part. She did not try. God damn it. JD! I just agreed with you! Come on, man!
Defended himself.
The Minneapolis mayor calling the Trump administration's narrative garbage.
Goodett had reportedly just dropped off her 6-year-old son at school Wednesday and was driving home when she encountered ICE agents and was shot on this street. You can see the growing memorial behind me where her vehicle came to rest.
Ashley Horan.
There's a Black Lives Matter sign.
Many people were out in the neighborhood at that moment.
What the fuck? Ashley Horan, a resident, she has a priest banner. She has the robe of a priest under her coat, her like winter coat. Women can't be priests. That's not Christian. Women can't be priests. I'm sorry. I'm not even a Christian, and I know that women can't be priests. And any church that practices that is not a true Church of Christ. That's just a fact. That's just a fact. No matter what denomination, if you really want to get heretical, that's exactly like just truth. It's been repeated by almost every single doctrine of Christianity that like they don't believe that women have anything to teach men. That's just, I'm sorry, that's Christian teachings. It's an anti-women, in many ways, setup where like she's not an actual priest. So I'm curious, is she going to like some Episcopalian church or something like that? I don't know. Like it's very clearly she's not a devout Christian if she's a practicing priest as a woman. I don't know that she's a woman though, but based on her voice, based on her build, based on everything, she appears to be a priest woman, but that's not proper according to Christian I'm just trying to make sure that the Christians are living by their own doctrine. You know what I mean? I'm just trying to make sure if Islamists have to cover up their women, and if they are not allowed to be in teaching roles, then what the fuck are the Christians doing? Like letting women be in teaching roles. It's ridiculous.
And it could have been any of us.
Renee Good was born in Colorado Springs. The mother of 3 recently moved to Minneapolis from Kansas City.
A neighbor who is not a terrorist, not an extremist. That was just a mom who loved her kids.
She loved her
spouse.
kids.
Her mother telling the Minnesota Star Tribune she's taken care of people all her life. She was loving, forgiving, and affectionate. She was an amazing human being. Law enforcement officials tell ABC News the agent who killed Good is a 10-year veteran of ICE's Special Response Team, agents deployed in high-profile tactical situations. Tonight, the FBI is leading the investigation. Minnesota's governor says state investigators have been blocked from taking part.
We have learned that the Trump administration has now denied the state that ability to participate in the investigation.
Yeah. I want to get this clear. Many people just have the conversation entirely wrong. Like, many of you, unfortunately, are not talking about it with the correct mindset. See, people are attempting to know exactly what Miss Hole in the Head was thinking. Did she mean to run him over? Was she just trying to get away? That's not even the correct conversation. And if you aren't aware of that, you clearly know nothing about the law. You know nothing about penal codes. You know nothing about how they would prosecute this, how the federal judges would look at this, how he might just get federal immunity based on one basic thing. Let's make this really, really simple and easy to understand. In instances of police shootings, more often than not, the intent of the person shot rarely matters. Genuinely, you may be asking, why? And how is that? Why does that though? Why does the intent of the person who's been shot matter? Because the standard isn't malicious intent on the part of the assailant, it's reasonable fear of the agent's perceived safety and about the safety of others. Many of you may ask, what exactly does that mean? In most instances of police shootings, the officer is the one in charge of the firearm, and he is tasked by and policed by his local state, federal offices, what government have you, to perform a task and release judgments on behalf of certain behaviors of the folks he comes in contact with. Here's how it breaks down. The question now becomes legally this: did the officer have a reasonable fear that his or others' lives were in danger because of the woman's actions or behavior? Now, if you haven't seen all the angles of the videos, if you haven't seen which officer shot, or if you didn't bother to look at anything, you just saw one grainy angle and you just looks like this, I feel this way, and you didn't bother to look at the angle from the house, you didn't bother to look at whatever, you didn't bother to hear any of that, that's okay. Now, I would understand if you had that taken, it was uninformed. But if you just haven't observed it, if you're TikTok-brained, whatever your excuse is, if you think on emotions matter more than they do, let me tell you what the officer would have seen from his perspective. The woman's car was just moving at him. This gentleman was dragged by a vehicle 3 months earlier, resulting in 33 stitches, as was previously mentioned. So you'd think he'd be a little bit more nervous about motor vehicles being used as deadly weapons, as he's had experience with such instances. He is at her driver's side headlight. He has no actual way of seeing which way her tires are angled, because the tires in the front are the ones that angle. They are literally covered by the front of the car, out of his eye line. All he sees when she hits the gas is her car coming for him. And in a split second, because remember, cops and federal operatives do not have the luxury of moving in slow-mo the way that we watch their actions. He made a decision, one that by the standards of the law, reasonable fear, he absolutely meets. He's not guilty of murder in any other related crime. He has federal immunity for this. This woman may have not been trying to drive. She may have been trying to just drive away. If you're trying to be detained and you try to run away, I can't say anything else, but you deserve it. Black, white, fag, straight, blonde, dirty-haired, all of us. If you run away from the federal agents, you are asking to die. And you can take that to the bank, you bleeding hearts. In the words of my late hero, Carol O'Connor, Archie Bunker from All in the Family. I don't know what else to tell you about that, except for that's just common sense. And unfortunately, common sense is just not all that common these days. I actually want to go ahead and I want to take a break real quick for the this clip of CBS, as we've covered. What is the name? DeCopel? Yes, DeCopel. Tony DeCopel. He's on the ground in Minneapolis, and he's reporting these scummy losers that are in the neighborhood. They've already built a shrine. They've already built, like, a barricade around the area where this woman got shot. And these scummy kids, this kid with camo pants with this, like, chain hanging. He looks like 19 with this broccoli hair and this stupid torn-up hoodie. He's going like, a woman didn't die here. A woman was murdered here. Let's just play the clip.
This is sacred ground. Yeah. A woman died here.
I mean, a woman did die here. A woman was murdered here in cold blood.
There's nobody, like, preventing a car from plowing through here.
Is that why the barrier's up?
Yeah, but the barriers
wouldn't stop an SUV.
No, they're kind of symbolic.
Look at these barriers, man. Some scooters here.
They've blocked off this entire road with, like, scooters, television, bike tires, garbage, old refrigerator.
Door.
It's disgusting.
Same on this side here.
I've been to the George Floyd riots, and then I've been living here over, going on 2 years now. Mm-hmm. And when I woke up yesterday, and my neighbor came and got me, she was like, come outside, ICE was out here. They just killed somebody. I'm like, what the heck?
Yeah, you see F ICE on the sign over there. ICE are terrorists here. Murdered by ICE here. ICE out of Minneapolis here.
I'm here to make sure Minneapolis doesn't burn to the ground this time. This isn't 2020.
What's it going to take for a sense of calm to come back to the city?
A sense of calm to people like doing what they're doing right now, sticking together, just like we did through the George Floyd riots.
One thing about Minnesota, we always stick together. I love that lie, that absolute lie. He goes like, just like we did in the George Floyd riots. We were peaceful. That's what we did. That's what we did. That's what we do. And legal experts, they're just jumping in on it. Jesse Ventura, they caught him outside of his old high school. They were like, hey, what do you got to say about this? And he gave an old man take, which was like, it's murder.
I'm saying, as a graduate of Roosevelt High School and as the former governor of Minnesota, I'm so proud of Roosevelt High School and how they stood up for what is supposed to be America and freedom. And freedom is not arresting people without warrants. We have a system here. It's called a Constitution. And we have a party, the Republicans, who don't seem to want to abide by the Constitution. January 6th is a prime example of that. And now they're all free and they're in charge. You know what? Maybe it's time for Jesse. I only did one term. I'm owed a second.
Listen, Jesse, I loved you so much when you were governor. You should have done the second term when you were young Well, you still love me when I'm no longer young and beautiful. That one, Lana Del Rey. Yeah, I still love him. I still love Jesse Ventura. He's still one of my favorite governors of all time. I just think that he's just like, I think he's ill-informed on a lot of things. I think he's ill-informed on certain instances. I think he's 100% right on Lyme disease being a bioweapon. That's just, like, not arguable. And 9/11, let's talk about your BBC. Totally agreed. I would love to talk about your BBC. Ladies and gentlemen, whatever take you have, whatever thing you take from this, whatever, you know what I mean? Just try to have a logical point of view. Don't try to be so emotional about it. Don't try to watch the video and go like, how does this make me feel? Try to go like, okay, what are we dealing with here? Try to go, what is the actual situation that I'm seeing here? Don't focus so much on how the feelings are. Don't focus so much on how poet, she was a mother, No, like, what's the situation? What are we dealing with here? Well, it doesn't matter. Oh, we're not talking about the ICE agent's past. We're not talking about the fact that he loves duck hunting, because it doesn't fucking matter. It doesn't matter who these people are or were. It matters what happened in that instant. It matters exactly what happened in those 4 or 5 seconds that shit went wrong. And I'm sorry to say it, from my perspective and from a lot of legal experts' perspective, they're saying that this whole thing about her getting a fair shot, her like having the murderer held accountable, it's not going to happen. Not going to happen. This is not a Derek Chauvin. And I'm sorry to say it, the media will not be pressured this time. The media they're spinning the story just as nicely as they did last time with George Floyd. They're spinning the narrative just as calmly and whatnot, pushing it out. And listen, keep an eye on it, but I'm not. I think that people are smarter than this time. Unfortunately, I think there's more radicals this time. But we're back in the 70s, guys. We're back with like tension. There's hippies running around the streets being dumb. And like, listen to the Beatles or something. Listen to, I don't know, what's that one song? Oh yeah, I'll tell you something. I don't know how to clap to that song. I think you'll understand. We're going to go back in time a little bit, guys. We're going to have some fun. And throw on some Chapel Roan or whatever your generation was, whatever your generation's like, we're like the newest thing. I don't know. Maybe you're like a Gen Xer and you're like, I don't know. What do Gen X people listen to? They're like, all the small things, true care, truth brings, you know what I mean? I'll take one lift, your ride, best trip, they're like every Gen Xer, they're like, did I ever tell you that I went to Blink-182? Did I ever tell you that I went to Blink-182? It's like, I think every one of you guys went to Blink-182. You and the millennials, you all went to Blink-182 at one point. I'll know you'll be at my show, however it goes. I don't fucking know. I don't know. It's fun. It's a good band. I don't know. Are they the ones that did the music video with the socks on their cocks? No, that's Red Hot Chili Peppers. I get them mixed up. I don't know. They're all old people bands, which I love. Which is weird because they were all relevant like only a few years before I was born. But they're old people shit, admittedly. You know what I mean? It's just a fact. It's just a fact. And eventually, Chapel Roan will be old people shit. I promise you, it's already old lady shit. Do you only see old sad lesbians listening to Chapel Roan? I'm sorry to say it. No one's bopped her since 2024. It's time to put her to rest. I think we need to take a break for an ad, ladies and gentlemen, because I've got a good sponsorship, but I have to take a minute to eat this dark chocolate. It's Hershey's Special Dark, and it's very good. In the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to give you a teaser for our upcoming story.
With breaking news out of Oregon. Local and federal sources tell ABC News federal agents shot 2 people in Portland just a short time ago. We do not yet know the circumstances, but we do know that the agents involved, we are told, are with U.S. Customs and Border Protection. The FBI is now investigating. We're also learning that the Portland City Council stopped its meeting due to the shooting. Our Alex Stone joins us now from Los Angeles. Alex, what are you learning about this shooting in Portland today?
Do not talk because I'm done eating the chocolate. I just have to drink some water. Does anybody else really crave... I've seen it on TikTok. People crave water after chocolate. I'm one of those people. All right, break for the ad, ladies and gentlemen. I want you to head on over to justiceforrenee.com, ladies and gentlemen, the only official source for premium innocent bystander merch, because nothing says justice like fast fashion capitalism. Are you tired of old protest signs that just say justice? Upgrade your outrage wardrobe with the hottest new drop from justiceforrenee.com, where we turn viral tragedy into limited edition lifestyle branding faster than you can say thoughts and prayers. Our best sellers, while supplies last or until the next viral incident, we have the I was just dropping off my kid hoodie. It's ultra soft, and it's ethically sourced, probably, cotton blend featuring the iconic phrase, heard round the algorithm, perfect for the winter marches. Zoom calls with your therapist or explaining to your boss why you're emotionally unavailable this week. It comes in maroon SUV red and windshield tint black. We have Justice for Goodness graphic tees, Not the Target, Still the Martyr trucker hats, and bystander era sticker packs. We have the screaming face emoji. We have ICE tried to open my door, so I tried to drive forward bumper stickers, and domestic terrorism, more like domestic traffic jam irony patches. Ladies and gentlemen, we also have a special bundle alert. The full Virtue Signal starter kit, the hoodie, the tee, the hat, 10 stickers, and a digital download of the Bystander Scream soundbite. Perfect for TikTok transactions. Only $89.99. Proceeds go towards, well, definitely something justice related. Trust us, ladies and gentlemen. Why shop anywhere else when you can wear your solidarity? Because nothing says I stand with the oppressed like a $45 sweatshirt made in a country we don't talk about. JusticeForRenee.com, turning 20-second bystander footage into lifelong branding loyalty since January 7th, 2026. Order now before the next story drops and we have to rebrand everything.